All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I'm going to make this video talking about the two-letter word do. The two-letter word do. I hope that some way, somehow, I can be an inspiration and bring about some form of mind stimulation to at least try in my attempt to get us to actually think. I mean, really, truly think and come outside of the box of rhetoric. Slander, defaming, backbite, all of the ills that come from the heart of man. And really, truly pay attention to facts and function. So listen to me real close, all right? It's obvious that no good deed ever goes unpunished. And it's also equally obvious that there are those that maintain a jealous and envious disposition against those who are actually bringing about an effect and change, a positive change in other people's lives. What am I saying? I'm saying this. I'm saying you pay attention and please learn this, because it has to be a learned behavior, because being brought up in this society and this condition that they have actually made us social to. In other words, we have a social condition, the way that we perceive, comprehend, and understand things, or overstand, if you want to use that term. We think certain ways when we hear people say certain things, but yet and still, we forget that there's always two sides to every story. Always two sides to every story. We need to ask ourselves, why is it that whenever someone advances an argument through silence, that they have so much sway and so much power over us that we really truly want to believe that, rather than listening to the other side? Well, here it is. The Straightway Truth Ministries in itself is a very positive ministry, and it brings about an effect and a change in people's lives. It changed them from the position or the actual lifestyle of being dominated over, being manipulated and controlled by the unseen hands and forces and powers that be, the same hand that causes us to have low self-esteem, to be in debt, to make us feel like indentured servants or slaves. Today, in this modern economical tidal wave and tsunami we find ourselves in, which is drowning every single body in the perdition of debt. You pay attention to these people out here that have nothing to say whatsoever at all. Have little bit of function in their lifestyle, to where when you listen to these people speak and teach, you listen to these people talk, you listen to these people make videos, ask yourself this question: would you follow their model? Would you pay attention to their lifestyle? And would you advance what they are actually putting out and use it for your own life? Because there's a lot of people out here that say a lot of things, but there's very few people that actually have the ability to do. We have testimonies of people coming out from under the enslavement of the condition that this society has placed upon us by trying to make us live the so-called quote-unquote American dream, which is definitely a nightmare, because the American dream is charged and be in the debt up to your eyeballs and work like a slave until you get sick. And then you have to be hooked up to some type of Dr. Octopus machine in order to keep your kidneys going and your mind going, and carry around some type of oxygen tank, because you have breathed so much bad air throughout all your life that you can't function. And then if you did amass some type of what they call, and listen to this, you paid for a home, 30 years of mortgage, and more likely you probably paid 3 times the amount for that home than what it's actually worth. And since homes are going down in value now, you're actually underwater. And no matter what you do, you buy a car, you're underwater. You buy a trailer, you're underwater. You buy a home, you're underwater. Everything that you do today is designed to keep you more and more in debt, and more impoverished, and more in slavery to the very system that gave it to us. So you can't continue to keep doing the things that you've always done and expect change. You have actually got to change your mind, which a lot of people just simply can't do. I make videos until I'm blue in the face, showing the people what an example of someone that would literally put their hands to the plow and do it. Not just talk about it, but literally do it, what type of change it would bring about in people's lives. Let's look at the ministry of Straightway Truth and let's compare it to other ministries, all right? Let's start in South Carolina here for a moment. As a matter of fact, I'm only going to use a few examples. There's a young man out there by the name of Elder Austin that's been following me for 8 years. 8 years. Who else do you know? I mean, think about this. We've got people in this world that listen to Pastor Dow, and as soon as, you know what they do? They get on YouTube and they make negative videos. They visit the land once or twice. I haven't even probably spent 5-10 minutes talking to them, and then all of a sudden they're experts about everything. And these same people, when they leave that land, are going to return to a lifestyle of debt, return to a lifestyle of stress and in poverty. But yet and still, they want to advance all types of arguments to try to sway your mind. And we got to ask ourselves why they do that. It can't be for nothing but envy and jealousy. Elder Austin, 28 years old, owns 5.5 acres of land. You know how he was able to do that? Because he stopped listening to all these people who said that they was preachers and teachers, and they have the answers, and they don't have any answers. And now he has land. Isn't that amazing? Brother Randy, in his late 30s, owned 10 acres of land and a home, and is building a couple of more homes on the land in order to house some people who are very responsible. We've got people that paid off debt and no longer is a slave to the system, because a borrower is a slave to the lender. Can you imagine that? And yet and still, people will turn around and try their best to evilly affect your minds, to try to tell you that there's something wrong with us in the ministry, while they never, or you never, get an opportunity to peer into their lives to see what they're about. You take Straightway in itself. I'm 49 years old. All right. I actually own not only land, myself and the brethren here in Lafayette, but we own land in Georgia. Could own land in other places, but I choose not to put my name on those lands. Now think about this for a second. I am able to provide a living, a place called home, for well over 35 people. Own the land that I particularly own and the ministry does. Nobody's in debt. Nobody owes no man anything. And yet and still I'm slandered and defamed for doing exactly what the Bible says. Why am I making this video? Not that I too much care about what my enemies, because the enemies are there. But I'm making this video because some of us don't have the consciousness to understand and to comprehend that there will be people out there that is full of envy, just like the scribes and Pharisees, full of jealousy, that simply the only thing they can do is try to character assassinate. Not that they have facts, but they try to character assassinate because they are envious and jealous, because they simply cannot they cannot perform what the ministry is doing. And when they can't perform it, the next order of business is to try to tear down anybody that's making any effect of positive change in other people's lives. Now, most people that can look at my channel and listen to what I have to say and comprehend it, they understand. And not only do they understand, but they begin to make moves, and they begin to better themselves, and they begin to wake up out of this matrix that we find ourselves in, this very system that has made them all slaves, this very system that keeps them into bondage. And you know what? The truth that is being preached is set free. And what you have to do is look at these people. You look at these people, especially, it's a shame today that a woman would get on YouTube and actually speak negatively about any man whatsoever at all. And that, what kind of effeminate man would allow his wife to get on YouTube and put her face out there and just start spewing out all kinds of mess? And you don't question the woman in that, because, I mean, that's what Jezebel do. You actually question the type of man that she has, if that is a man. You see, people, you've got to learn how to exercise independent thinking and self-autonomy, because there's going to be a lot of people out there that will try to do anything they can to sway you from this course in order to keep you in the same condition that you're in today. Some of you have been listening to me 5 years, and you've had it in your heart, mind, once you hear me, man, I get it, I understand it. That is the best thing to do. Why not just save money? Why not just go out and buy some land and not be in debt? Why not just build our own home rather than paying somebody else to do it and then be in debt for 30-something years or 15 or 20 years for a mortgage? Man, that sounds really good. Why not get together with people of like precious faith? Why not just do that? Why not just, that sounds good. Why not plant a garden and grow your own food and thereby ensuring for you and the generations coming behind you a healthy and a positive life? Why not do that? Why not live in such a manner that your life can have such quality that you can have the same testimony that Straightway does? Not one person on the land is on any prescription drugs whatsoever at all. Not one person. And our oldest people out there are 76 years old. Not one of them is on any prescription drugs. Who else can say that? Who else can literally say that? None of our children are affected by the vaccinations that causes all type of diseases and mental disorders amongst the people out there. Who else can say that? Who else can say that nowadays? You've got to be able to look at fruit and be able to discern. You really, truly do. And then these people who say that they have sound doctrine, it's time for you to start questioning their doctrine. Because if they can't live what they so-called preach and teach, then you know that these people are liars. They don't have sound doctrine. By their fruits, you shall know them. Pay attention to the people that do. Because it's a whole lot easier to talk than it is to do. You watch people. Because remember, the blessings according to the Torah are those who are able to achieve when the Most High empowers them and He gives them strength in their hands. This is the truth, and that's the true straight way. I hope you wake up. I really truly do hope that you can come out from under the lies and the tyranny of the enemy and actually start doing something in your life to change your mind so that you can bring about a positive change, not only for you, remember, it's for the generations that's coming behind you. Remember, a righteous man lays up and stores up wealth for his children that are coming behind him. What are you going to do today?